AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Knocking it out tonight. A lighter. Or your phone works too.
Hold it up. Hey. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the one and only after show from, of course, The Affair. We're so excited. This is artist Lucinda, who
Lucinda Williams.
I've never heard of,
Lucinda
but thanks to
Williams.
Alison Dean, who shouted that out because, of course, it was in the show today. Big part of the show, actually, which we'll get into. But again, I'm your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me always on social media, and that is at the Poet Saint, and that's everywhere. I got my two lovely ladies with me. What's up? As always, Miss Alison Dean. Alison Dean, what's up?
What's up? You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
Really?
Yes.
And Miss April Whisenhant.
Oh, hey, everybody. Y'all can find me Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at April Whisenhant.
Yes. And I was missing last week, and I'm so glad to be back because
missed
this
you.
show...
Unacceptable, Len.
I know. It'll
Unacceptable.
never happen again. It was a terrible week. But I want to dive right in the show because this particular show for me was a huge culmination of where this is going with these two people.
Right.
We've been seeing, of course, different versions going on. Of course, it started with Helen and Noah, but then it also went into, a whole lot of different other types of variations and a whole lot of things going on that kind of just show us a lot of people's perspective. Mm-hmm. But to see Helen's perspective and Noah's perspective like this, first of all, I just want to say, there's a few things I want to say. First, I'm like all over the place. So Helen, this is the first time for me, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time I've seen her unravel. This is the first time I've seen her really just let go because even though she's gone through the affair and we saw last season, Noah tells her what's going on. Of course, she's upset. Of course, she handles it in her own way. But this is the first time where I've seen her just really go way off the deep end. To where it's affecting her children. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing is I felt she always kind of kept together for the children. And in this case, she obviously endangered the children. There was a lot of things that go on.
Right.
Please elaborate on what I just said. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yes. Definitely, completely agree. I think that what she did was very wrong in the sense of but also she forgot to pick up her kids. I'm sure that happens as a parent, especially a divorced parent in that kind of situation. When you add multiple glasses of wine and a pot lozenge on top of it, of course it's going to affect you even more.
Right.
But I'm also I'm not praising her for going off and this bad stuff happening, but I'm also you deserve it, girl. People are
she chose the wrong day.
She definitely chose the wrong day, but it was also a tough day in court. And for her to hold it together as much as she does, of course she's gonna, take a day and let loose. If she honestly forgot, which it seems like she did, forgot that she was supposed to pick up the kids that day, have a couple glasses of wine, have a pot lozenge. Your husband just cheated on you and you're going through a major hell of divorce where you just came back from court where you now know that your husband is trying to get your money and is trying to get your parents' money. So I don't knock her for that. She just chose the wrong day and chose to do too many things maybe on top of one another.
I know everyone's going to hate me saying this, but in Noah's defense,
They love Noah.
I know. In Noah's defense, he, I think, did want to go through with mediation and just sort of decide on, custody and call it a day.
Right.
So it really was only until she had him served and ending up in court that he was then going to go after part of the money. Because that was not something that he
initially wanted
He
to
wanted
do.
It was
at all.
such an assertive action for her to serve him with papers.
Yes.
Because we talked about last week is, this is a thing that can happen, obviously, but it's when you think that you're going through mediation and you think that like, oh, okay, we're working this out. Obviously, that's going to be a thing that's like, okay, never mind, I'm serving you with papers.
Yeah. So yes, I would agree with you, Lem, that for sure this was the first time that we really saw her unravel and, dive into the deep end, if you will.
Right.
Yeah. And, to her, I agree with April too, that yes, she's got a lot of muckery going on.
A lot of muckery. The other thing I wanted to point out that I noticed, and this is kind of a bleeding over from last episode when we saw kind of Whitney, kind of go crazy on Noah as she went to when she went to go visit, but the other kids and how it's affecting them.
Right.
And we see Martin, we see the youngest boy, and how basically they're both just the resentment that they hold for their father.
Right.
I mean, he obviously, once this happened, the relationship was immediately strained, but we didn't really see it, interact because he was always gone. He was away once, the affair happened. He left, and then we kind of saw what was going on away from the kids. We saw him with Alison. We saw him, dealing with what he was going through, the things he had with Helen. But this is to me, the first time we see him back with the children interacting and how they are completely resenting him for what has happened. And it's just, you look at with Martin when he came to the house, Martin was like, what are you doing here type thing? Like this is his father. And then we see the youngest boy and how he was how he was fighting. And this is more or less with Helen, not so much with Noah, but just again, seeing how this whole thing with them both is affecting their children tremendously.
That's what's so sad about it is because obviously Helen wants to be happy, Noah wants to be happy, Alison wants to be happy, and
Max wants to be happy.
And Max Helen wants to be happy.
Poor Max.
But it really is, it's a selfish decision. Not to say that they don't deserve to be with the person that they truly love.
Right.
But when they have so many kids and they're so young, of course, like that's something that you're gonna go through. It's something that the kids aren't gonna, it's never just a completely amicable split, no matter.
It can't be. Maybe who knows?
Well, there's always going to be someone who probably brought it up first, even if you ultimately agreed on it. Like especially with the kids, they're always going to think, oh, someone did this. And with this, it's very, oh no, you cheated on mom, like you did this. I don't know if the youngest ones know that. I don't think they do actually, but it's his fault that they're getting a divorce.
Well,
technically, it is his fault that they are getting a divorce.
Not technically. Like for real,
you
are correct.
The name of the show is The Affair.
Right.
He is the one that had the affair. Let's all keep it real.
Yeah.
But it's it's not because it's not he wasn't perfectly happy. So it's like you can look at Helen's side and say, or Noah's side, excuse me, and be like, well, was he completely happy? He had the affair, but what was going on behind the scenes? He obviously wasn't in a perfect marriage. Yes, they had 4 children, but as we see especially with her parents and how her parents treated him and how she even treated him at times because she felt he wasn't valued by his career.
Right.
She was the one the breadwinner in a sense because of his position. She earned her trust and her family's money and all of this. So I'm not saying that he should have cheated and all of this kind of stuff.
Of course.
But there also are 2 sides to a story,
Sure.
which is what they show us in this show, and they do a very good job doing it.
Damn fine job.
Yes.
That's on the nose.
On the nose, son. So it did start off with Helen's position, and I do want to say, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but I like the fact that they are exploring not just Noah and Alison's version.
Absolutely.
I like that they're exploring Helen, they're exploring Cole, and maybe we'll get a Max situation. I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm just
That's
saying.
season 3, Lem. Season 3.
I'm jumping ahead. I know. It's just so much. So with Helen's version, they start off in divorce court, and we do find out that Whitney did tell Helen everything that happened.
Whitney.
And I'm just like,
Oy.
oh, Whitney. Did you think she was gonna tell? Did she? a muck. I love it.
I love it. Marissa, well done, man.
Marissa's the best engineer
I
ever.
think I would have done the same thing.
You know,
if I was Whitney.
I think part of me really felt like she was going to keep her mouth shut, because it seemed like, at least from where her and her dad left things, there was incentive for her to not say anything.
Exactly.
Right.
So I was kind of like, I was disappointed,
From
actually.
where her and her dad left things. Oh, but I guess we didn't see in Allison's version last week where she and Noah left things. We only saw the conversation with Allison and Whitney, where she was like, give me Scott's phone number, and she was like, no, that's your dad about this, and then she was like, oh well, F you then.
Right.
And that makes a good point, because maybe because of what Allison did, maybe that's why she went ahead and told, because she wanted to be with Noah. She said, I want to live here. And so he's like, all right, don't say anything, and then we'll try to make that work. And then she goes around and turns around and does that. So it could very well be, I'm glad you brought that up, it could very well be because Allison gave her the number.
Right.
So jinx. The judge ends up taking note of Helen's money. The brownstone private school, which I thought was interesting, how he's like, interesting, what's going on. And then we see that it looks like Noah is now going to go half of everything, which before he was completely, in his version, I don't want nothing. You know, I'm good. You can keep your money, all of that going on.
Well, I think that was intentional, like in the sense of, I think once mediation was off the table and she was going for full custody or whatever she wanted, then at that point it was time to say, well, then F you. I'm going to go for half the money, which is not something I wanted initially. But if this is how you want to play it.
Exactly. Then let's play.
How we'll play
Not to say that Helen doesn't have every right to be pissed and whatever. I mean, hey.
And we even saw that, not to jump ahead too, well, it's jumping ahead a lot, but when he's talking to his sister and how he says, you know, based on what happened with Helen and everything with the kids, how it's like, I can go for full custody. You know, so it's almost like trying to, okay, you get me, I get you, tit for tat type of situation.
Right.
So not that I don't think he would do that, but I think it was a way for him to be like, since he's kind of the underdog in this situation, because he's the one that inflicted what happened, he's the one that kind of caused the divorce, as you can say. She's the one that has the money. She's being the one that has it put together. It's like, oh, now I got something on the table.
I was really pissed, actually, about that exchange, but I'll wait till we're talking about the Nina and Noah exchange.
Absolutely. So Helen's mother, Margaret, we see that after Helen is home, she confesses. She confesses, which is huge, that she doesn't know where her husband Bruce is.
Redheaded Margaret, albeit
saucy.
She's trying too hard. That's all I gotta say. No, I've never been a fan. Oh my God.
There could be someone there for her. Just saying.
Sure.
Just saying.
Sure. With a walker and like oxygen. Absolutely. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just going on record. Margaret, I never liked Margaret. I thought I really hated how she treated Noah. I hated how she would always throw everything, you know, in his face.
Yeah, she's just a brat.
Yeah, she's super bad. She's super bad. It's privilege, all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of glad she's kind of getting a dose of, not her medicine, but that it's not perfect for her. You know.
I just realized too that Bryn Mawr is an all-girls. I believe it's an all-girls university, so there would not be anybody there for. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Someone can correct me on that.
Oh, for Margaret's.
Oh,
but pretty sure
I am in chat,
girls.
so if you have any thoughts, just let us know. We do have a few so far that I want to read for y'all in a little bit.
Okay.
That's yes.
Right.
But no, I think that she does in a sense like have it coming to her. I'm like, ha ha ha.
Right.
But then at the same time, he also like cheated on her for years, and I can say that if I was with a man that was cheating on me for years, I mean, well, obviously there must have been some other reasons like the cash that she stayed with him.
Oh yeah.
But
definitely the money.
I'd probably be a little bitter myself.
You know that whenever they came on camera, those two, it was never a loving relationship.
Oh, no,
it always felt uncomfortable,
Sure.
and it felt like, wait, why are these two people married?
Right.
Because it never felt.
Nothing
it always
felt genuine. Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It just felt like they never really liked each other, because she's like, you've been cheating on me for years, and he's like, you've been keeping me from my happiness, and I mean,
they both resented each other totally.
But it's so sad because, you know, just like we see later with Helen at the salon, it really is almost a mirror of what they're doing, what's happening with Noah and Helen, because he's like, I want to be with this is my happiness, but she's like, this is our family. And it's like, which person is ultimately right? Neither of them are. He's not right to say, this is what I want, so I should be able to have it, and she's not right to say, but this is our family, so you should automatically do this. There's no perfect answer for them, obviously.
But I'm glad that she's not happy. So,
Margaret is sad, and we are happy about it.
yeah. So we also see Helen meet up with her little boo, Max, who kind of comes in.
Boo no more.
Yeah. Like ready to, like, we got an hour and a half, so let's get it cracking.
The clock is ticking.
He
Let's get it ticking.
He says, so do you want to, what's the?
A screw?
Yes.
Screw first?
Do you want to screw and then you're president? Or
I'm pretty sure he
president
used
and
the
screw?
F word.
Yeah,
He did. But
okay.
We're trying to
not
censor
television
it.
appropriate.
Yeah.
So what we mean.
He does bring her a gift, some tickets to Buenos Aires, and she wasn't thrilled.
No, she was not.
At all. And then he then tells her, on top of that, which doesn't help anything anymore, that he gave Noah $50,000.
Right.
So at that point, she's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. This is not cool. You know, woo too fast.
Right.
All this kind of stuff is going on. Then Max ends up telling her that no one is good enough for her. And then she says that Noah was the one that left her. So that whole exchange, do you think that he was deserving of that? Or do you think it was a situation where he should have gotten that? Because I do think that they got together really early.
Right.
And also the whole situation that this is his friend. And so it's really shady that they're doing this in the first place. What are you thinking of that exchange?
It's definitely super shady, of course, what they're doing. But
do you think she's going on conscience about it?
No, I think that it just kind of freaked her out. I think she's like, holy crap, you gave my ex-husband $50,000 so that we could be together, and you bought us tickets to Buenos Aires. Like, I don't even know what's happening with my kids. Like, there's just too much on her plate right now.
Right.
So she can't handle this, like, extra stuff that doesn't have to be handled right now. So I definitely think Max did it with good intentions, especially the tickets. Now, the money is obviously a little more, it was very generous, but it's also very self-serving of him, because he's like, okay, I just want this to move along. And
He
Helen's
wants to
like,
marry her. I mean, he wants to
absolutely.
fast track everything. And I was trying to see if Bryn Mawr was an all-girls university as all that was happening, and just no, nothing was working. Just Marissa, maybe you can investigate for us. No, he definitely wants to fast track everything, and it is. I mean, he's gone through divorce, but at the same time, he's not necessarily being as compassionate to the fact that it's true when Helen said, he left me. Right? So it's sort of like, it's not like I was asking for this.
Right.
Yeah. So, Bryn Mawr, BRYN. MAWR, I believe.
our engineer is Googling this for us right now for all you watching.
Anyway, I just think it's I mean, it's amazing because he's that all in for her. You know what I mean?
I think
he
too,
is all in.
yeah.
Super hot.
I think the thing, I think a lot of that is he's not like the typical guy she just met. Also,
Right, they have a lot of
They have a
history.
long history together, and I think Margaret kind of brought it out what she was like when they were at that dinner party.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, I always thought she was gonna help with Max, not Noah. And so I think he secretly always wanted to be with her.
No,
I think
not
so, too.
secretly.
I mean,
yes, I think he did always want to be with her.
And
He
so
says he's been waiting to be with her for
Yes.
years. So to him, he's like, oh, we have our chance. Let's do this. And
Let's
she's
go.
like, hold
and that's
up.
why he's on the fast track, because he's not some regular dude.
Right.
He's been waiting in the wings for this.
I think it's gonna be very interesting to see as everything plays out with the show, just especially because now she's technically rejected him on some level. I think it's gonna be interesting to see kind of how her character arcs more. I don't know, just how it all evolves, because it'll be really interesting to me if then she kind of is like, oh no, he is the man for me, or who will be the man for her. I don't know. I'm just like very excited.
I don't want to
kinda
get
like
into predictions, but I'm just gonna say this flat out: like, he's not. I'm just saying, because of how everything is going down, I think she feels like if she ends up getting with him, that it's almost like she's doing the same thing. Not that she's cheating because they're not together, but she's living a deceitful life.
Really? Even after she's divorced?
Oh no, because the whole thing is she can never tell Noah that she's with Max.
Well,
she
once
can't tell him
once he's
now.
married to
Listen,
Alison,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
She's gonna tell him.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't think she has it in her. I don't think
Well,
she has
he
in it.
certainly does.
Oh, he does. Oh, he's ready to go. Remember, he was on the time, hour and a half. Open your present, 5 minutes. We got an hour and 15 minutes left. Like, I'm just saying.
And then
like,
let's go elope.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
No,
ready.
he's on board. Obviously, she's not yet.
No.
But what I'm saying is, I don't really think. I don't want to get in predictions,
Yeah.
but I'm just there. I don't really think that she is going to get to the point where she's going to be with him, because the whole thing is it's going to rip I mean, it's already in shambles right now,
Right.
but it's going to rip them apart, because there's no way that Noah is going to allow that to happen. There's no way.
Well, it's
Really?
it's possibly because of what Albert Patterson said. Albert Patterson is in chat with us.
Yeah.
And he says Helen is still very much in love with Noah.
Absolutely.
She's not over him. Of course
That's
she
true,
is.
too. That's
And
true, too.
I think that part of why she wouldn't tell him is because she knows that it would hurt him.
Oh, sorry. I was reading a comment. Hi, Brittany.
Oh, hey,
I don't know.
the person in chat.
I was like, what? What happened? No, I don't know that she feels. I mean, I do think feel that she's in love with him.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be a matter of hurting his feelings per se, because she's been hurt by him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that that's it. But I think that for the sake of their family, the kids, everything, the whole gamut, I think that she wouldn't allow that to happen, because Noah, like I said, would flip the lid all over the place.
I don't know. I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would.
If he, this is his boy.
I know, but that's
this
the
is
thing.
his boy.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would.
Oh my god.
I don't think he would.
I'm the resident guy today, right?
You are the resident guy, Lem.
Okay, I'm a super resident guy. Okay, so if I divorce my wife, right? And then found out in the middle of us divorcing. Now, granted, I got
But had you cheated on her?
Yeah,
Were you living with
okay,
your
wait,
affair person?
wait. I divorced my wife. I find out that my best friend is sleeping with my wife, or together with my wife, or whatever you want to call it, behind my back. Yes, I'm going to be upset. It's not the fact that they're together. It's they're doing it behind my back. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Right.
Obviously, he had an affair. We all said that. This is the name of the show.
Yeah.
The Affair.
Yes.
But the whole thing is, I also don't believe that you should just do something to spite me. And if you decide that you're going to go ahead and be with anybody, that's cool. There's a million trillion guys out there. But you're going to pick my best friend?
Well, but
Like,
the
come on.
best friend kind of picked her.
connection.
Oh, okay.
I understand why Noah would be mad, of course.
And
I
I'm
just
not
don't
saying
think
that he
he's
would
gonna
just be mad at Helen. He would be mad at Max too,
Yeah.
because they're both in this. Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Okay, so I think that he would private
is.
women's liberal arts college. Thank you. So Margaret was basically there would have been no options
Okay,
for
the janitor.
unless she wanted to go.
The janitor.
She
The
wanted to look
janitor.
good for her friends, though. Every
Yeah.
girl wants to look good for their friends.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Oh,
just
but
saying.
she said it was made in 1885, so that might have been when she went. She graduated
wow.
the first year. I'm just saying.
Lem got jokes tonight.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
I think that yes, Noah would be probably pissed initially. Probably pissed initially.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
because yes, it is the whole going behind the back thing. Although
Sure.
Max couldn't tell him until everything is done anyway, because it couldn't work out that way. He couldn't tell him.
Yo.
So yeah, it's like initial yes, I'm pissed, and then I think Noah would get over it though.
Yeah,
Oh my
I think so too.
gosh.
I do think they'd get over it.
But you know what?
way.
Either way,
We don't even know why we're
Max
arguing this though.
is
It's like
being a bad influence on Helen.
Oh,
Clearly.
sure. Oh, clearly.
Because
Clearly.
let's talk about her debacle at the salon.
Oh my gosh. Let's get into it. So before that, she actually flips on a customer. This is before the salon.
Oh, right.
And she had her little
holy
party.
cow, that
Yeah.
was like majorly
Yeah, that
flipping
was
on a
crazy.
customer.
She said, what did she?
Yeah.
She called her a stupid Botox slut.
Hipster.
Something, yeah.
CUNT.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
See you
if I
next
can't-
Tuesday?
I don't
Yeah,
know if
see
I'm
you next
supposed to
Tuesday.
bleep SLUT or not.
Yeah.
Sorry. If
I don't think
I was
I don't
supposed
know.
to.
Yeah. Anyway, she called her some really bad names.
Yeah, she did.
And this was, as a result of the song that we played, her little, party of one,
I changed
where
the
she's drinking
locks on
and she
my
actually
front
takes
door.
the pot lozenge.
Oh my.
And all of that. We should actually play that song while we're going through this montage. And so then...
Where's my lighter at?
right here. And so then she flips out on the customer, and then she goes to get her hair done, has diarrhea of the mouth with the hairdresser.
Oy.
Just talking, saying she...
Oy.
There
we go.
Yeah. Saying she farted from her vagina.
Oh my, twice.
Which was hilarious.
That was my favorite part
and
of the
then,
show, I think.
at the end of that,
you know what a fart from the vagina is.
Oh no! I was literally like, why would no? She cannot hear that, Helen. Thank you.
Yeah,
no, she cannot hear that.
Okay, wait. As the resident
That's
super
what
guy
I was
here,
thinking. I was like,
is this
shut
a
up.
real thing?
What do you mean? Is this a real thing?
No, I'm saying
It's
like
not a fart.
but it's something that happens. You just call it a fart from your vagina.
Okay, you're right.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that it was something.
There's a
people
word
say.
for it, but we'll say
Okay,
it later.
we'll say it later. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to like.
We'll tell you off air, Lem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right.
That's
So
that's April and our after show for after hours. Yeah. Okay.
That's the after hours after show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marissa. We appreciate it. All right, so she then gets a phone call, finds out she forgot her kids because she didn't know
What day
it was. Yo.
No, Noah's getting them. It's
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah. She didn't know what day it was. So she goes to pick them up with the freaking foil crap in her hair, driving over. She's just so tore up, disoriented. And I love how, what they did with the scene, how she was just, it looked like it was kind of like, I don't know what you would call it. Yeah. Yeah, that was dope. I thought that was really dope with how they did that, cinematography, all that good stuff. So she picks them up, then ends up getting into a car accident.
That was nuts.
Gets into a car accident. The police happen to show up. Or they were already there waiting for her.
I think so, probably.
So the police are there automatically. She gets out.
They were at the
It was at the
naval
camp.
yard.
It was
like a
where they
rec
had the
center
camp.
or
Yeah,
something
where they have
like that.
camp or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because
I
the
feel
kids
like,
are in camp.
Was it like a field trip somewhere? Anyway,
I don't
okay.
know.
I'm not sure, but she
Okay.
was wherever it was. They were there. She was an hour late to pick them up.
Right.
But the workers were there. Bottom line is, she gets in this accident. The police show up immediately, and then they say
They were waiting for her.
They were waiting for her to mess up. She then say, "Let me see your purse," because the officer sees something that is not good.
Questionable.
Yes, very questionable. And then she
She did it to herself, though. He probably would have thought it was a pin had she not been like,
Yeah,
no.
has she not been all weird?
Yeah.
Well, she was being way
But she was on
weird.
drugs at
She
the
was
same time.
she was being all the way weird.
Yeah.
She was being all the way weird.
fully weird.
Like all the way weird.
That's gonna be my new thing. I'm gonna just start saying that people are all the way weird.
No, she was being all the way weird. And then this is what I was trying to bring up earlier about Trevor. Trevor's like, trying to grab the purse and like he's flipping out.
And she fought back with him.
Exactly. And so all of this is happening in front of the police. But again, it's affecting the kids. All of this is affecting their children.
Yeah.
And then so Noah shows up and then Helen says, while she's in the police car, she says something. She says, "Why are you doing this to us?" And I thought that was very
Poignant.
Thank you. Took the word right out of my mouth.
Me and you.
Right here. That she said that. So when she said that, what did you guys think about that?
I honestly felt so bad for her in that moment and in the moments when they were cuffing her, because she's like, I have to call my husband. And he is basically almost not her husband anymore.
Right.
And that was kind of her thing when she was sitting at the salon, is everyone else is laughing with their friends and ha ha ha, and she's there by herself.
She
and
wants
she
to
says,
stab everybody.
right. And she says to the lady, to her hairdresser, "You're my friend, right?" And so it's just like,
That was not her friend.
Not that she has
the looks on that woman's face.
Yeah.
No,
definitely not.
No.
Not that she has no one, but it was just sad to me that she's like, I have to call my husband. I have to call my husband, because it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, in that situation, she 100% should have called him, of course, but she's reaching for people that aren't necessarily there. So I actually felt really bad for her.
Well, I think with her, and when we first were introduced to this couple in the first season and how their life was going, and what led up to the fair and all of that kind of stuff, she led this life that was very safe. She had a very, she had a comfortable life.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have to worry about money. If they ever got in money trouble, their parents were there. She had this trust where she bought this brownstone. They were, in all intents and purposes, a good-looking family. On paper, they looked good.
Yep.
Noah's an aspiring author. All these things are going for him. She has her business. They have these 4 children. So now all of this is interrupted. All of this is disrupted. And now she's searching, I think, because her parents are now all over the place.
Yeah.
Dad is often with
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
With Ina.
Holding it down.
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Holding it down. Mom is not happy because of that situation.
Right.
Here she is. No one's gone. The kids are, again, acting out. All this stuff is going on, and now she's losing control. And then she's involved with Max,
right.
who she can't really talk about because of the situation.
And Max is so out of control at the same time, too.
Exactly.
Because he's like, oh, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this.
Right.
And she's like, hold up.
Yeah, there's no boundaries, there's no structure, whereas before, you could tell she had very much, a lot of structure in her household.
Right.
A lot of structure with the family. Now, there's no structure anymore.
No.
And so, everything's crumbling, and which is hence why she had the drug-induced, episode with
right.
all that was going on leading up to her arrest.
One of the most important things probably throughout this episode is that Allison's like, ooh, her hair is going to be fried when she takes those foils out, because she had the foils in for so long. And then whenever she's sitting in the jail cell, she takes it out and it's like white.
I was surprised that her hair didn't come out with it, though. I was like, oh, girl, you got lucky.
What is the, again?
That's how women dye their hair. You put like hair dye on it and then you foil. I don't know why you foil it, but I've never dyed my hair. And then you put the foil on it.
And
well, to separate, because it was highlights.
Oh, okay.
But she over-processed her highlights. So
because it left in there so long.
Like the bleach was like...
Oh, I see.
Usually, you leave on like 10 minutes, it lightens it a little bit, wash it out, call it a day.
Oh, okay.
But she left it in for like 35 hours.
Right, it was a long time. Yeah, it looked really, really bad.
No
it looked
bueno.
really, really bad.
No
So,
bueno.
as I said before, she gets arrested, she's in jail, and we move on to Noah's version.
Before we go right there, I want to say something really quick. Lem, you'll love this. Brittany M says in the chat on the Max Helen thing again, Noah, after all those years of being friends with Max, taking money from him and etc., I do think his pride, meaning Noah, would send him through the roof. So Brittany agrees with you.
Bing! Shout out to Brittany, agreeing with the correct person.
I'm excited.
The right person.
I'm excited to chat about the Noah's perspective of the conversation when she's in the cop car. Once we get to that.
Yeah. And to point one thing out, I do like the way they shot this between Noah and Helen, because it seemed like Noah's versions and their versions were just the fill-ins. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't any overlap until we got to the cop car. Which I think is very significant, their versions of the cop car situation. Because when they were in court, it was the two separate, so there was no overlap there. And then when we saw them two, with their whole thing, Noah with Alison, what she was doing, it was all separated. But the only thing that overlapped was the cop car. So. And
also, I should just say that I was totally wrong in the beginning of episode 1 when I thought that they were going to really be separating out like Noah and Alison storylines each week. No, they're just flip-flopping all around, and I love that.
Me too.
I love it too. So, starting with Noah, again, it's in the divorce court. In this particular situation, we see Noah admits that Alison will be living with him in his new place when the kids aren't there, which I thought was huge that he admitted to that. Because here he is, this guy who's kind of lived this deceitful life up to this point, and now all of a sudden he's like, I want to come clean. I want to tell the truth.
I want to be honest.
I want to be honest.
Also sending Helen over the deep end.
Of course.
I think he's thinking at this point, like, okay, I've proposed to this woman. This isn't something that I can hide in my life anymore. So it's like, okay, no, I have to be upfront. Hopefully he is just becoming a more honest person, but I think it's like, oh no, she has a ring on her finger that I bought for her. Maybe I should probably be honest, but the lawyer's an idiot for trying not to be, because it's like in that he's just going to get caught, and it's just going to take away everything from him if you lie.
It's going to hurt in the long run.
Props to Noah for telling the truth.
And plus, if what I was saying is correct, it's already been exposed that she's living there, that he's proposed, all that kind of stuff.
Well, now they know.
So that's what I'm saying. Prior to in the previous scene. So the judge tells him to come up with a reasonable agreement for the sake of the kids. So at this point, the judge even can tell, he's like, whatever is going on, you guys need to come to some type of agreement up to what you're going to do for the sake of your children, because that tends to be the people that are get hurt the most, are the kids in the situation.
Absolutely.
He then meets up with Alison, who we find out has been looking for an apartment.
But before that too, just real fast, so the judge also strongly suggests that they need to find resolution outside of court, and that he prefers not to see them back in the courtroom. So I think it'll be interesting to see what actually happens with all that, if they elect to then proceed with mediation and not go through with all the court proceedings, or if in fact they're gonna here's the thing, Helen really effed herself hard by getting arrested.
Well, of course.
I do think it'll be interesting to see how that plays into everything.
This plays into everything. Sure. So like I said before, Alison's been looking for places. And Noah drops a bomb on her, and
you
says,
dropped a bomb on me.
Hey, and then she says, "Baby,
honey,
I don't think that we can live together." And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's of course flabbergasted because her thing is like, we now have come to a place where now we can be open.
Right.
We don't have to hide anything.
Right.
We can get a place. I mean, this is what she's thinking.
Right.
Of course, on his end, it's a lot more complicated than it is for her.
Well, this is where I honestly do go so back and forth on their relationship throughout the episode because I'm like, oh no, they're like meant to be together, da da da. But then it's like, oh wait, because she says, well, maybe just give Helen what she wants. The kids can just come on the weekend. And as a child whose parents are divorced, I'm like, oh heck no. It's never that woman, which obviously Noah is very like, what are you saying? Like, no, which so good for him.
Right.
But that's not a good way to go about it in the slightest, because you never, as like the other person coming into the situation, say like, oh, well, maybe not see your kids as much. And she has to realize that, you know, if it was her kids, if, you know, her son was alive, I'm sure she would probably be feeling the same way that Noah was. Like, okay, of course, that's most important. Of course. This is what I need to do. But he is obviously upset about it. But it's not a thing like once they're married, they could ultimately live together. But I didn't like that she even suggested that, because it's like you need to appreciate it and take a back seat for the moment. It was really bad on her part. I think it was a selfish thing for her to do, but also you're looking at the comparisons. Right. She obviously did lose her child, but she at this present moment doesn't have any children. Right. Noah has 4 children, you know, and Whitney's, you know, about to be a grown up. So and she doesn't want to, and Alison doesn't want to be by herself, which is justifiable as well.
Sure. I mean, you look at it for more point, but again, when you're stepping in a relationship, when you know that he has children, to tell him, oh yeah, we just see them less so you can satisfy me, it's always going to be the wrong answer.
Yeah. Never a good thing to say.
Not at all. So we see that Helen calls from the accident, which we know is the accident because of the previous Helen's version. And so he goes down there and
leaves lunch.
Lunch, leaves her there. And then she's acting irrational in the police car. Very. So this is where we see the overlap, where we see the 2 different versions up front.
Very conflicting.
And she tells Noah another poignant thing, and I quote, she says, how come you can mess up and I can't?
Right.
So this is where we kind of see kind of where everything comes to head, where she's kind of tried to keep it together throughout the whole affair, throughout this whole separation of the family, the divorce proceedings, and here she is, like I said, she let loose.
She's unraveling.
Right. Exactly. Whereas Noah's been doing his thing for a minute, which is why they're in the situation in the first place.
I don't think she necessarily unraveled. I think she literally just let loose. So she's like, oh, I just need something to like make me feel better right now. Obviously not the things to go after to make you feel better, because I don't know about pot, but I know alcohol is a downer. So but people think it'll make them feel better. Sure. But I'm also like, she made a mistake. She did some stuff. She just happened to end up in a very, very bad situation.
Well, I use the term unravel because I'm not just speaking about this incident that we see happen.
Right.
I'm speaking about everything that she's been doing. I think the whole Max situation
is her unraveling.
Is her unraveling, because
I agree with that.
I don't think that in her normal cases she would have, if let's say they amicably divorced, that she would be doing that she would be seeing them, regardless of him being there and them being friends. It's just something that is not, to me, what we've seen her character to be, and not in her nature. Right. So I think that she's doing a lot of things that are off the cuff, a lot of things that are not in her wheelhouse that she would not normally do, because of how she's feeling.
Yep.
She's very vulnerable right now. And so this is what's going on. So Noah walks in to the house at this point to go get the kids, the rest of the kids. He has the 2 with him. Mm-hmm. He goes to get Martin. And so because he needs to take them out, because obviously Alison is going to jail. She's going to be there overnight. Helen, sorry. And so, thank you. And so he walks in and sees the lingerie.
The
strewn throughout the house,
from the stairs, underwear on the bed,
from Max's 1 hour visit.
No, but
Roses on the table. It was from Max.
It's from Max because of the roses.
Not
Remember
the clothes weren't. The clothes
No.
she just I think,
No,
took
those
them
are
off.
her clothes.
Yeah,
those
right.
are her
I was
clothes.
like, well, they didn't romp.
Yeah. No,
didn't
this is
have
her
a romp.
clothes.
They
no.
did not enjoy that hour and a half.
No, they didn't enjoy the hour.
Although the wine glasses that were on her
was
mantle,
two of them.
One was probably
Right.
old.
That's
was
what I was
two of them.
thinking.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't, because obviously he saw it and saw roses,
Right,
and
right.
underwear and a bra and 2 wine glasses.
Exactly.
But I think that was just.
I think that was just
good
for the
writing.
sake of us, exactly, to be like, oh, he's been with someone,
Right,
right.
Which she kind of has, but maybe
no,
not
she
that
has.
particular moment.
That
No.
day she
right.
had not been.
She had not been.
Right.
Party of one. Cue music. No, just
Helen's
wait.
party of one.
So this happens. So he's, of course, a lot of things are going on in his head. He ends up taking the kids to his sister's house.
Nina!
Who is
Jennifer
introduced. We see
Esposito.
her. Jennifer Esposito. Oh my gosh, she's so fine.
Everything.
So,
Allison and I
I'm
were
so
on
glad.
an after show together for the Mistresses, and Jennifer Esposito was on that show, and we were obsessed
Love.
with her.
Really?
And I love that she is making a cameo
Yeah,
on this show
that's
because
dope,
she's
that's dope.
beautiful and actually fits the perfect
Sister.
character type to be
Up
his
to
sister.
To that. We also see his dad, who definitely they have animosity because the first thing is like, oh, I didn't even realize he was going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of see it play out. We also find out that the dad has resentment for him getting rid of Helen, or basically having the affair
Right.
against Helen. So he's taking her side. Talks to the sister, Nina, about Helen, and then we see them go at it.
Right.
And kind of, it starts off kind of amicably, and then it kind of goes left really quick.
Gets heated.
And so they start going back and forth. And then at that point, he tells her why they don't visit. And he's like, this is it. This is why we don't come.
What did y'all think about that interaction, though, as far as her being like, Noah, do you really want full custody?
I was on her side
I was too.
all the way.
I was too. That's her sister. She knows him. She knows
Right.
him.
But
She
beyond
knows
that,
what he's capable of
she was
doing.
making very valid points,
Right.
sister or not. I was
Right.
like,
Well,
yes.
no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, she, of anybody, is going
Right.
to know that's his sister.
Noah,
Right.
don't be a schmo.
Exactly. And it's just not cool. And she's also a mother. You know,
Right.
we know
Yep.
that she's a mother. And so she's looking at her eyes like, if this happened to me, how would I feel? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So don't do that. So she's speaking from that
Yeah.
tone. And so we find out that the kids also, because he goes in, you know, he doesn't even know the difference between football and baseball. Martin resents him. I mean, the kid, it's all
Everybody's
crazy.
mad at Noah.
Everybody's mad. Everybody's mad. So they end up going to a hotel. And then we see Martin with his stomach pains
Hotel,
again.
motel, Holiday Inn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With his stomach pains again, and this
I'm
has come up
calling
before.
appendix.
Right.
I'm calling it.
That's
Right.
what I was thinking, but he wouldn't be experiencing it for this long.
Yeah,
if
it's
it
been
was
a
just
long
with-
time. It's
what
been
if
a long
it's
time.
Okay, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm no
obstruction.
nurse. Let me
Exactly.
tell
A bowel
you.
It's
obstruction is
something,
possible.
but I think it's going to be a recurring theme, and I think it's going to turn into something really, really bad. Not to get in predictions early, but I think that's what's going to happen. And so Allison calls, try to give medical advice, and then she ends up showing up at the hotel.
Which I actually did appreciate.
Yeah, I thought that was really
cool.
sweet.
I thought that was super sweet too.
With her Dos
Thought that was
Equis.
dope. Right, that was dope.
Yeah.
So they kind of have a moment, and then we fast forward. And it only is in Noah's version. It wasn't in Helen's version. But we see the actual murder trial. And we see that the lawyer is trying to get a change of venue because his book is doing so well.
Which he
Descent.
said was number one
Right.
most important thing. They had to get a change of venue because
Exactly.
everybody in Montauk
Exactly.
hates them with all the way.
Right, right.
And,
And, he wouldn't get a
the
fair
other
trial.
lawyer said, I can find 12 jurors that haven't read this damn book.
Right. Yeah. That was very interesting. So I'm excited going forward. But right now, let's quickly get into predictions.
Oh,
Let's do it real
snap.
Let's do it. I want to read some stuff from.
quick. Oh, there it is.
And now,
I was like,
your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
okay, we got like 3 minutes.
April?
Hold on, you go first.
Okay, go
I wanna
first.
read
All
some
right,
stuff from
so
last
I
week.
guess it seems like we're going to get a little bit of Cole and the new love interest coming in next week, I'm thinking, perhaps. I don't know. How many predictions did I have during the show that we can recap? Did I have
I
many?
know. I feel
Yeah.
like I had so many.
There was quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't. Every week I'm just like, let me throw my pen. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I love the show.
Yeah, the show's amazing. I think that going back, like I said, Martin's sickness or ailment
right.
is going to come more into the picture now that it's been shown a couple of different times. I also think that we're going to see more of Max kind of maybe, I mean, I don't think we've seen the last of him. You know, she kind of was like, I'm cool on you right now.
Yep.
But I think he's going to kind of come back and try to do something to try to pull her back in.
Yes.
So I think we're definitely going to see more of him. And I know we're going to see more of Cole and this mystery woman and the feud with the brother. I'm really excited to see where that is going to go.
Yeah, and I think for next week too, we will get Alison's perspective on this whole situation that we saw tonight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I think we're going to get that next week.
I agree
of
with
her
you.
apartment hunting and then the lunch and then I do think that we're
How
going to get a lot
everything
of
went
this.
down on her end.
Yeah.
Sure.
So in our comments from last week, which thank y'all so much for watching and commenting.
Yay!
We love
Absolutely.
reading them.
Absolutely.
Miss Lost Nikita says, and this is referring to last week's episode, the proposal plays a bigger part in Noah's story because he needs the proposal to keep his insecurities and anxiety in check. Sarah Treem, one of the creators, explains this in her interview with Vanity Fair, which I need to read. And that is so true. We don't often talk about Noah's insecurities and anxieties.
Right.
We do his insecurities, I guess, but he is a very anxious person about everything.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's gonna part of going into next week with Alison. Alison is also a very anxious person, and I think she is gonna take
and insecure.
this. Right. I think she is gonna take this court order from the judge very personally, which it is personal. It's against her directly.
Right.
But I think it's not going to be good. And then I think the only reason I think Cole is going to end up with the chick from next week that we see, the brunette. I think that's who he's going to end up marrying. But I think that I feel like they're throwing that in there because it's like, oh, let's give another reason for somebody else to be a suspect, which is a great reason because, oh, Scotty's pissed. It's the night of his brother's wedding. Maybe he got drunk and he went somewhere and he did something bad and someone did something bad to him.
Right.
Yep.
So that's what I got.
Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in. This has been another amazing episode of The Affair. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves, for this AfterBuzz, and oh my gosh, I'm ready for next week already.
He's so flabbergasted.
I'm just, it's every time I do this show, I can't talk good. See, there it is. I can't talk good. See, case in point. Case in point. Case in point. Like I said, I'm Lem Gonsalves. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint. Miss Alison Dean, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean, spelled with one L, just like Allison on the show.
Everyone's in it.
I was like, what? And y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all the above. Don't forget to comment.
Yeah.
Please comment. Make sure you comment. We want all the comments. We want to know what you think. And we'll kind of compare to see what ends up happening.
I know.
Word to your mother.
See y'all next week.
Have a good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.